Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I'm back with my man, Christopher Melcher, attorney at law. And thank you for alerting me of this one. This one is fascinating. I'd seen the headlines, but Christopher gave me some more information because the insurance company that was helping to fund this trial, it seemed, for Amber Heard, is now suing her. And we have the documentation, and we found some interesting things. Christopher, let's set this up. So can you remind our viewers, why is the insurance company paying for this? How did that happen?
Sure. So we had reported on this earlier, and I did a thread on it maybe a couple months ago where we suspected that insurance was involved. As in many of these cases, when somebody gets sued, they can turn it over to their insurance company if they own a house or maybe they rent an apartment, and there is what's called a liability policy attached there. So it's not just if your place burns down or gets robbed, there's also liability. Usually if somebody gets injured on your property or if your dog bites somebody, all these kind of risks are covered. So when somebody gets sued for defamation, a lot of times they're going to turn this over to the insurance and say like, hey, you need to defend me. And that's exactly what Amber did. In 2019, she turned over the claim that Johnny Depp had made against her to her insurance company, New York Marine and General Insurance Company. And they responded and they said, hey, Amber, yeah, we have a $1 million policy with you, and we understand that you've been sued. We will provide a defense to that policy. So we're going to go out and pay for a lawyer to defend you. But they warned her that under California law, as is true in many, many states, that we don't cover willful injury. We cover accidental loss. If it turns out, Amber, that you willfully did this to Johnny, we are not going to pay out the $1 million. We will defend you, but we're not going to pay the $1 million. And so they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Very, very standard for what we call a reservation of rights letter saying we'll defend you, but if it turns out you did something bad, we're not willfully, I should say, we're not going to cover you because it's not an accident at that point. That was not good enough for Amber. Amber said, you know what? I don't trust you guys. I don't trust the lawyers that you hired. And so I'm going to have my own lawyers defend this and exclude the insurance company retained lawyers. That's what they're alleging. It's around.
Well, before we even get to this, so so Amber had set this up. Now we're learning this, what Chris was telling you, but just so we're clear, Amber lost. Amber was found malicious. All these things now have prompted the insurance company to now sue Amber and say, well, we aren't responsible for damages, right? And so in this motion, a filing, the complaint rather, this is what Christopher's now alluding to, deep in now in this complaint, which was filed pretty recently. Yes, they're now we're getting some more information about that Amber didn't want their lawyers and wasn't giving evidence. Continue, Christopher. I just want to make sure people understood the timeline of things. Now, this is where we're sort of learning some juicy information from the insurance company, basically throwing her under the bus, no?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So after Amber lost, she went to the insurance company and said, hey, I owe Johnny Depp $10.35 million. You, New York Marine Insurance Company, pay Johnny $1 million.
And they're like, no.
Yeah, they're saying no. And they have two reasons for that. Number one, they're saying that according to this verdict, there's a serious question here as to whether she acted willfully and intentionally to harm Johnny, and that's just not the type of risk that they cover. They cover accidental loss, not intentional harm. So they're saying that there's no obligation to pay the $1 million. That's their first defense. Their second defense is that Amber had an obligation under the insurance contract to cooperate with the insurance company because they had mutual interests. The insurance company doesn't want to pay Johnny Depp $1 million, and Amber Heard doesn't want to pay Johnny Depp the $1 million. So their interests are aligned and they're supposed to cooperate with each other. But Amber refused to work with the law firm that had been that the insurance company was saying we'll pay for. And this is, in Amber's mind, thinking, really it's paranoia that I can't trust these lawyers because they were hired by the insurance company. And that's just not true, because The lawyer has an obligation to Amber Heard, not the insurance company. The attorney-client relationship was between Amber and this law firm that the insurance company was cutting the checks for, but worked for Amber Heard, not the insurance company. So she had a free lawyer. And she said, no, I'm not working with that person. She excluded them, according to the insurance company, would not talk to them. Her lawyers wouldn't share information with this free lawyer. And so the lawyers, the law firm that was being paid for by the insurance company said, we can't help. They won't talk to us.
Right.
So they got permission to leave the case. And so the insurance company is saying, look, Amber, you didn't cooperate with us. We gave you a free lawyer, and these are legit lawyers here that had a duty to you that we were going to pay for, and you wouldn't work with them, so we're not paying any of your claim now. That's a very strong defense. And what's very odd about it to me is who turns down a legit lawyer who's cost you nothing? Who would do that? And Amber doesn't have a lot of money. I mean, she got the most money she ever got in her life was this divorce settlement from Johnny. But in the scheme of things, when you have to pay a lawyer to, or law firms and investigators and all this stuff to defend this Virginia lawsuit, that would have wiped her out. Who in their right mind would reject a free lawyer? The only time that would happen is if somebody else was paying the bill. And so who is fronting that? Amber doesn't have that kind of money.
No, it's true. It's really revealing. But I mean, as I look through this, it's also just really revealing that the insurance company who was defending her is now basically saying, yeah, you're guilty. You lost. The jury. Like this is all pretty good to see. Like they're just confirming that, yeah, the jury answered yes to all these questions, that, you know, that there was actual malice, and they awarded Depp. So now the insurance company is like, see ya. We're not repping you. That's something I think worth making sure we make note of. But yes, the second thing Christopher just said, also very sketchy of exactly who paid, because then I'm confused. Like, so did she pay for? I mean, she didn't, clearly. I mean, actually, you know what? We keep saying she doesn't have money, but she had that $7 million that she never gave the Children's Hospital and the ACLU. Like, she did have some money lying around that I assume she's been spending over time. But, you know, maybe there was some truth to Elaine's comment of, yes, she's had to pay for the lawyers, because that is a potential, right? Or there's Elon money or some other rich benefactor that keeps sort of helping her get through this, which it's hard to believe there isn't strings being attached, or, you know, someone pulling some strings from afar. But I mean, couldn't she have saved some of the $7 million she had, Christopher? Is that a potential?
Well, sure. So she had a little bit of Aquaman money, but you got to remember there's, you know, agent fees, attorney's fees, and taxes taken off of that. She got the $7 million from Johnny tax free, but it was paid in installments. She bought that house in the desert. She's got, I'm sure, pretty big living expenses, you know, and I know $7 million is a lot of money, but in the scheme of things, over years, she would have spent that down. And to defend yourself against a trial that took 6 weeks and years to prepare for, we're talking millions of dollars in attorney's fees.
Right.
This is
you think it would have cost? Interesting, Elaine, and all that you think cost millions, or you including UK too?
Well, the UK is a whole separate thing, and she was a witness there, so you know, I'm sure she had some fees there, but the son was,
that's true, the son covered
running
all
that thing. But, you know, I mean, this is what I do. I mean, I run big cases. I own a law firm, and it's like these bills get extraordinarily high. I would be thinking in several $100,000 a month in attorney's fees bills. And to think she's just like, oh, I got the bill from Elaine. Let me just cut a check, $250,000 this month. Oh, you want another $200,000 next month? Sure, no problem. When the insurance company's saying, hey, we have a law firm here. It's a legit law firm. It has a duty to you, Amber, not to us. We don't even share information with them. And we're going to pay for it. And there's no clawback provision under California law. So they, even if they don't have to pay the $1 million, they don't get to refund the attorney's fees that they paid to this law firm. So it's like, here, free law firm. And she's like, no. To me, that makes no sense. And again, I've been involved in these type of disputes. We would take the insurance company money for this funding, and we would have that law firm run the case and do a lot of stuff, and then we would have very specialized counsel overseeing it. I do this all the time, and it's like, so we would be like, okay, maybe we have the big $1,000 an hour lawyer overseeing the lower level insurance company lawyers, and let them run the case at the insurance company's dime and do all that groundwork while we have just some strategic advice overseeing the case. That's totally legit. And Amber apparently had all these teams of lawyers to oversee things, but why not use the free lawyers from the insurance company? It makes no sense unless you have deep pockets, which she does not have, or a benefactor.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, and hearing it all out, you've swayed me, and it goes to some sort of weird benefactor. Who's helping this? Who's paying for all the PR right now? Because I don't believe this PR is free either, as we discussed yesterday in our video about this headline, which has caused chaos online of just people falling for this nonsense wrong juror thing, which you can watch our video yesterday. Go check out our video yesterday about that, where we broke that down. But Christopher, even this, I know the law stuff, but this ain't cheap. To get all these, if you search Amber Heard right now on Google and in the news feature, she's filling it. And there's no way that this wasn't a PR tactic and people reaching out to these outlets and to get this story ahead of it, to get it to deadline. Who's the fact that someone's out there trying to get this to deadline right away so they can get that exclusive. All that costs money too, no?
Oh yeah, very expensive. And and that would be something that would be worthwhile for her to spend her remaining money on, because that could actually help her get work in the future, rather than spending it on an attorney when the insurance company is willing to pay for that. That's the part doesn't make sense to me. I would see her throwing money at trying to rehabilitate her image, but to spend money to defend this lawsuit when the insurance company's saying, here, we'll cut the checks.
It does scream somebody who's got plenty of money to throw around is what it screams, which, given her celebrity net worth, which people have joked about, but we've seen she's negative $6 million right now. It is odd for someone who has no money shopping at TJ Maxx, right? There's clearly more money behind this woman than she's alluding. And I guess that's really the biggest takeaway in the story here. Who's paying for it all? And obviously everyone goes to Elon Musk, who now, I wonder if that's why he dropped Twitter, Christopher, because he has to keep paying for Amber Heard's expenses. But who knows anymore? I mean, speculation warning, who knows? But everyone's going to lean towards Musk. But if she's got, connections to Musk, she must have connections to other rich benefactors. Any other theories you want to even delve into thinking about that? Where do you think it's coming from?
Well, I mean, there's ACLU.
Yep.
You never know. I mean, they talked about, they have different categories where they'll take donations, and sometimes they'll allocate it for a very specific purpose according to the donor. And then they have these other categories, which is like a slush fund that the ACLU can use it for any purpose. So are we seeing ACLU funds being used for, this trying to protect victims, whatever they're going to classify? This whole case is somehow going to protect civil liberties, so they're going to throw a ton of money at it, and they're ambassador, and this is this bigger women's issue. So I could see them trying to articulate something like that and throwing a bunch of money at it potentially. Washington Post, I mean, they're
in it too.
They're in it. They published it. They're benefiting from this. They would not ordinarily want to see something that they published being defamatory, which it was.
The other thing we need to keep in mind too is because I keep looking at TMZ, because it's like I hate giving TMZ credit, but I'm almost like, I know we know Amber is so tight with them. I almost wonder if Amber's team wants this out there, right, to make her seem like, oh look, she's stuck again. She doesn't have the money or whatever. There's always some sort of PR tactic with her, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the motive here as well of why. But I don't think a lot of people are going to really delve as deeply as we're getting into it of. But TMZ, I don't want to give them any credit ever because I was about to, and I'm like, you know what? I bet you there's a reason why they're even posting this. No.
Yeah, it's hard to know that. I think that look, I mean, a lot of the outlets have obviously seen where popular opinion lies, and so unfortunately, that can sway how news is presented. We know that, that they kind of want to feed people what they want to hear. So they may have pivoted to more of a pro Johnny slant more recently because that's just more popular.
Right. I guess TMZ really has no allegiance to anybody is the other reality check. You pay them all month for exclusives, and then as soon as they can stab the knife in your back, they will do it for the clicks. But I'm curious what you guys at home think. Interesting insight from Christopher. If you like Christopher's insight and his honesty, make sure you go follow him over on Twitter, CA_divorce. I'll put the link in the description as well. Any final words, Christopher?
No, I mean, we're obviously going to keep following this story as it's necessary, and that's where I'm kind of trying to slow down some of my tweets on this, just because it's like if it's just the same story over and over again, I'm personally not interested in it. You're
likewise
probably not either, and so I am looking for other stories to talk about, and it's when it interests me, and I think I have something to add to it, and it's a legal story, I'm going to tweet about it. But if not, I'm going to stay quiet for a bit.
Amen. But Amber Heard getting sued by her own insurance company, that's worthy of pointing out to you guys. And this is, I think, pretty interesting information of who's actually funding it all. We'll keep you posted once we actually have more information to point out there. But I'm with Christopher. Please tune into our other videos as well. My goodness. Please, we need to start spreading everything. But I appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe here to Popcorn Planet for all of our store coverage. Hit the bell for alerts. Smash the like button. Leave a comment down below. Please stay tuned for more coverage for this and so much more. And thank you, Christopher, as always. You can find him again on Twitter at CA_divorce. Love having you here. We'll have you back soon, sir. And everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back soon.